Yeah, it's your girl Jazzy aka Dope by Accident, and I'm chilling with Verse Online. Dumb drums.
First of all, your name's Jazzy, but it's spelled in a significant way. Why did you
Yeah.
spell Jazzy that way?
Well, my whole name is like, it's Jazzy aka Dope by Accident. Like, I always put the Dope by Accident on there because, like, that's really, like, a part of my name. But
Right.
Jazzy's, J-O-apostrophe-Z-Z-Y, I don't know, because people used to say Jazzy or Jassy. Like, folks never pronounced it right. Like, they never pronounced it right. So I was just like, you know what, let me just put the apostrophe J-O, the apostrophe Z-Z-Y or whatever. So that was kind of really the reason or whatever. But because my name was Jazzy, but, like, it was like, well, but I'm Jocelyn. My mama called me Jazzy. But we didn't like J-O-Z-Z-Y. So we was like, yo, let's just put the apostrophe, so folks will stop calling me Jazzy or stuff like that. It was just getting on my nerves. Everybody messed up my name. Like, it was killing it. It was killing my name.
Okay, well, I understand because people still steal my name. Usually I'm still
Man,
going
oh,
through
I
it.
know.
It's annoying when you, like, no, my name is this way, and then they see how it's spelled, but then they try to be funny and try to pronounce it their way. You're like, no, my name is spelled
yes.
this way.
Exactly.
It's like,
don't even
pronounce
try to
it.
spell it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
don't even try.
Okay, your single Trynna Wife, it has a lot of women,
Yeah.
Like, dang, Trynna Wife, kind of have them scratching their heads. So what was the inspiration behind the song?
I mean, I just think it has the whole idea of, like, today, women, we got our own stuff. Like, this is a new era of women kind of, taking the whole Oprah role. And I call it the Stedman era. Like, men don't mind playing the back seat. But then also you got some men that they play the back seat. It's almost kind of like they try to wife you up just so they can enjoy your fruits of your labor. And like, I always got homeboys that come to me like, yo, Jazzy, I'm taking you to the Grammys, I'm going to wife you up. And, they playing, but in the back of their mind, they not playing. Like, that's serious. Like, these dudes, sometimes they just want to, since a woman, is getting their own, it's kind of like, I have this. I'm not saying I don't want you, but I don't need you. Like, you slick, acting like you need me more than I need you. So that's kind of what Trynna Wife is. It's not like bashing men. It's not, but I feel like any woman that's successful now, you got to worry about those men that come around on the aspect of, yo, I'm trying to wife her because, yo, she gonna get me right. I call it I call it the Stedman era, but I'm not saying Oprah got Stedman right or whatever, but he's fine being where he is. I'm pretty sure, he ain't tripping. So, yeah.
Okay. Trynna Wife is, when I heard the song, when I seen the title, I'm like, okay, let me listen to what she's trying to say. And fellow rapper Cameron was kind of under fire for his reason for being, he said in an interview that if you're 35, that there's something wrong, I guess, with your vagina. So being that you came out with this song, trying to wife, I'm sorry, do you agree with that?
No, he said, what did Cameron say?
He said in an interview that if you're 35 and I guess if you're not married and you don't have children, that there's something wrong with yeah. Or there's something wrong with you.
You know what? I mean, well, I'm not even nowhere near 35, so I can't say this song was mainly for, like, girl, like, I mean, just it's a song for anyone. Don't get me wrong, but I'm speaking from a 24-year-old my friend, like I'm not trying to be wifed up right now, and if I'm gonna be wifed up, it's gonna be with someone that I know can bring something to the table and actually messes with me, like, and I mean, as far as what Cameron says, if that's what he feels, that's what he feels. I feel like today, women are we're progressed now. Today, we're taking those meetings. We got Fortune 500 companies. Like, women are doing it. So I feel like kind of love is I think love is still on a woman's agenda because we're still women. But I feel like at the end of the day, I think there's love in other things that we want to accomplish. So for a man to say that, that's a man. You expect him to say that. But, to each his own, though. But I feel like that's just a woman. Like, some women want to be married. Some women don't. But I don't think there's nothing wrong with your coach if you don't
I
get
know,
married.
Right? It's like, okay, something wrong with my vagina if I'm 35. Maybe
Nah,
it's some
nah, I
kind of,
don't think, not at all. Nah, that's a woman. That's a God-given. That's a woman's consent. That's a woman's prerogative if she wants to be married or if she doesn't want to be married. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. You on Trynna Wife you have Mace and Timbaland
Yes,
on it.
sir.
Yes,
Murder
and
Mace.
being Timbaland has been in the music business for over 20 years, and Mace, from the whole Bad Boy era. How did that chemistry come together for this song?
The chemistry came together actually. I mean, I've been in Tim's camp for I was in Tim's camp for like 3 years. With Dumb Drums and like his producer at the time, Wizz Dumb. Like he heard that's one of his producers, like his protege. And so Tim flew me down. When he heard my music, he went crazy. Flew us down to LA to work on my album. And this was like around time he was working on 2020 Vision with Justin Timberlake. So you got Justin in the room, you got Tim in the room, you got just everyone in the room coming in, like listening to your music. And he just happened to have come in on the day I was working on Trynna Wife. And like he came in and just was like, yo, give me a track. And I was like, whoa, okay, you about to get on this. And that's kind of how Tim came about. And so that was what it was. And then that was, and then I think like a year later, because we, we just took it in the archives. And then a year later, Mace heard it, my manager, Mike Daddy, who's Wizz's manager. I got in touch with Mace on some, honestly, the man just had strings. I don't know how he did it, because, I swear, this was one of those things you wish, but you never thought you was going to get, and the fact that I'm trying to bring, 90s R&B back, that 90s sound with the heavy harmonies and like that, for Mace to get on it. I didn't think he was going to get on it. Then I saw a video on Instagram of him rapping to it. I said, yo, Mace is rapping on Trynna Wife. And that's just how it happened. And then he came to Miami, and then we hung out, and I just realized okay, all right. So it's not just he really messes with the music; he messes with my sound and all. So it wasn't just he just got on the track. It was kind of built something, after he did it. So that was dope. It was really dope.
Okay. You wrote for some, music for some singers. So some singers is out today, specifically one of them, Beyonce. How was that, work? Because she's possibly one of the hardest working women in music. So how was that? How was that, meeting with her and writing for her? How was that? The Beehive would love to know that.
I will say first, I worked with her. I wrote, I co-wrote. It was just I just co-wrote a part on a song. It wasn't I was supposed to work with her, but a lot of things happened and busy schedules, and we couldn't really get in. But the way Beyonce, the way she was, the way she works, it was amazing. And just the fact that we even talk about it, how she told me yo, your hooks are so strong, and she was like, yo, you remind me of Missy Elliott and Esther Dean, and that just kind of made me feel some type of way, because just being around A&Rs, they've always said my hooks weren't strong. And for Beyonce to say that just made me, they gave me confidence. And when I told her, Jay-Z looked at me and was like, yo, don't listen to no A&R. Don't listen to no A&Rs but me. And, we laughed it off, but that's real. When you have the greats who work hard, and it's a feeling that they get. Everything is based off how you feel, and I think that's what's so different about Beyonce and Hov when it comes to A&R and artists, because they actually feel it, and if it feels good, it's right. So working with her, I learned that if it doesn't feel good to her, if she doesn't move or in the studio, then it's not hot. She doesn't feel it. But it was an amazing time working with her and just being a fly on the wall. I didn't even really get to work with her like I wanted. But, for her to even listen to what I had to say, that's crazy. And, for her to even really listen to what I had to say, that's great. That moment was crazy. So, but, yeah, it was really good.
Okay. You mentioned Missy Elliott. I looked you up, and it seems that Missy Elliott is the one artist who might have, influenced, your
Hell
music.
Yeah.
So, How has her music influenced you as an artist today, and in the future, will there be a collaboration between the two of you?
Man, you know what? I feel like people always like say, is it going to be a something between Missy and I, like a song? I feel like I'm not. I feel like it could happen. I know it could happen, but I'm not. I really want to wait because I feel like that's just like that's when you hit that moment. That's that. Like she's too great. Like but like working with Missy. Yeah, you feel me? Like she's just too dope. But Missy, like being around Missy and like staying with her, she's the reason why I wanted to be an artist. Growing up, of course, listening to Missy and looking at her, it was just like, yo, this lady reminds me of me. I wasn't like, I was heavier when I was a kid. I wasn't like the skinny, the skinny mini, so seeing her kill it, that made you feel like, oh, wow. And so, and then not to mention, Missy's sound was, her sound was just, it was nothing like out there like that. And she was writing for everyone. And that's another thing. She broke artists. She broke 702. She broke Aaliyah. She broke Nicole Ray. She broke artists. And you look at Jasmine Sullivan, she broke Jasmine Sullivan. That was just recently.
Right.
She broke, she's still doing it. And so that's why I love Missy. And then when I stayed with her, it was just on some writing for her artist, Sharaya J. And she was like, Jazzy, you need to be an artist. And I was like, nope. I kept saying no. And she was like, look at you. You look like a skateboarder. You look like you about to rap a 16 bar and you finna sing. Like, that's going to fuck niggas' heads up. And when she said it, I didn't get it. But it's a generation out there that may listen to me that won't listen to the other artists that came out in the 90s. Not that I'm saying what's wrong with them, but it's like I'm trying to bring back 90s R&B because it's missing. And, like, she put it in the best words. Like, they probably listen to me better than they listen to someone else just because I look like them or whatever. So, and I understood where she was coming from. And when you have one of the people that you look up to say that, that just made me listen a little bit stronger. It made me go downstairs to her studio and work. It made me, okay, Wiz, make a beat for me. I'm gonna try this. And then, so that's when it started, like, happening. I was like, okay, I'm feeling it now. Let me go. Let me do this artist thing. But yeah, so she's amazing.
You talk a lot about 90s music. And a lot of people be like, what? You're 24. Like, what do you know about 90s music? So
it's just like but you know what? That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Because 24, when you think about it, in high school, in elementary, that's what was playing. You think about your kids now. Think about your kids now. Your kids are like 6, 5 years old, 4 years old. They know every song on the radio.
Right.
So I was probably about 6 years old, 5 years old, but I knew what ooh, ah, sock it to me. I knew that. I knew what One in a Million was. Like that was my because I had brothers and I had cousins. So that sound is always that sound is always around me. So yeah, that age, music. When you're really musically inclined, it don't even matter about the age. It really doesn't.
Yeah, I think the reason why people say that is because the feel, like when you hear a Total, or when you hear, back in the 90s, a Total or a Mary J. Blige or Brandy, who were, one of the artists who ran the 90s, they're like, well, you have to understand how it felt to hear that. You're a lot older and you hear it now, but like you said, 5, 6 years old, when we hear it from our parents, from, them playing the CDs or the records, it's like you have to have that feel. That's why I feel people say they look at the age and say, well, 24, you didn't understand the feeling of hearing Tupac or the Notorious B.I.G. during that time. So how important is the 90s, because you talk a lot about the 90s, so how important is it for you to bring it into 2014, because, there's a lot of different sounds out now, and a lot of the young kids, they're listening to a Bobby Shmurda or, people who are trying to bring out their own sound, but trying to keep the music, it's like, 90s, we don't really need relevant. That,
oh, no, but see, don't get it wrong. I'm still doing, it's still like we're bringing it up today. Like we call our shit 2090s because the music, the sound, the beats is futuristic 2020. The 90s is me, my melodies. So when you put a beat on that's of today, you know, that got kind of like reminds you of a 90s beat, but it's still of today. And then you put those 90s, because really like 90s melodies, it was just a swag. It ain't nothing but swag. Like I think Thugger, Young Thugger is like his swag on melodies. I laugh at it, but I'm like, yo, his melodies are so 90s to me. Like on some songs he does, it's damn near 90s, right? If you really listen and pay attention. So like, and I feel like today kids R&B's going back. R&B's coming back. You got Justin Bieber doing it. You got people doing 90s. You got people doing R&B. But the 90s R&B, all that is it was just a swag with your melodies. It was a swag with your harmonies. You could do a bop. It was a way you could move when you heard a 90s R&B record, and it was a mid tempo, like the mid tempo. It's a nostalgic feeling, but yet it's still of today. Just like how Trynna Wife is. Like Trynna Wife is still of today, but you can definitely hear kind of, you know, the sounds of like the 90s in the melody and in the chorus or whatever. So yeah, like I feel like I think the world's ready for it, just like how they're ready for Bobby Shmurda, because we can't forget. And I feel like there was no bridge from the 90s to 2000. It went from Total Trippin' to Lil Mo Superwoman.
Right.
There was no bridge. There was no gap. Like it didn't bridge right. So I feel like, okay, I see it. I'm gonna just do it, and like I refuse to make anything else other than what feels right to me, and that's why I call it 2090s R&B, because it's still of today, but I'm still trying to keep that feeling of the 90s where, and then I'm talking about something, and that's another thing. That's another thing that kind of the 90s brought. So yeah, I feel like the kids are ready if you do it right, and if you do it right.
Okay. Do you have will there be? I like that, because you know a lot of people, how you just described it. A lot of people your age and younger feel that way. So that's why it was important for me to ask that. You know, they're like, what you mean? Like, we can listen to it and still feel the same way you all felt like 20, 19, 18 years ago. So, yeah. Thank you for that. So, Trynna Wife is, it's crazy. It's a crazy track. Are you going to do a follow-up for Trynna Wife, or are you going to jump into something
I
different?
got some joints.
Okay.
You don't understand. Trynna Wife was just a record. Like I think it's a great record. But girl, I got some joints. Like what I'm talking about, I'm just ready. I'm ready to like just overload ears, like, because like the sound, it just gets crazy and crazier every time I come out, it's just going to be crazy and crazy. Like I said, Trynna Wife is an amazing song. I love it to death, but girl, we got more. You got more?
Oh,
you got more?
Okay. Thank you. We need more. So, is there anywhere our listeners can find you? Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook?
Of course. On all of my things, on my social networks, is Dope by Accident. Like that's like my alias. Like Dope by Accident, DOPEBY Accident, and you can go to dopebyaccident.com. YouTube is Dope by Accident, and then my Facebook is Jazzy, aka Dope by Accident, or you can just put Dope by Accident. But everything is Dope by Accident. Like straight up, like it's easy. Jazzy, Dope by Accident.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jazzy, for the interview.
Thank you. Do you like the song? You mess with Trynna Wife?
Yeah, I mess with it.
Okay.
I mess with it hard, yes. And I'm not saying it because I'm talking to you and I'm working. I'm saying because I like it.
Okay.
But,
Talk about a wedding ring. That means he Trynna Wife. That means he Trynna Wife. That means he Trynna Wife. That means he Trynna Wife.
Yeah, it's your girl Jazzy, aka Dope by Accident, and I'm chilling with Verse Online. Dumb Jones.
True colors turn black.